long time ago, I used to go running in the mountains. So early morning, when it's dark, I used to, put on my shoes and go running. And so as you go down, the sun comes up and you can see more clearly. So I was near my destination. I looked down and I'm wearing two different colored shoes, over there. Too late. Yeah. Anyway, so that looks nice. You have to be creative. Okay, perfect. Now, Jebet is saying, I think next week I'll do that too. One colored shirt, another color. Okay. Anyway, so good. Yesterday we had a nice time. Like I said, I invite anyone who want to come and cook, and Sean said, yeah, he want to cook. So yesterday he gave me a list. This. I gave the list to Kenny, so he got all the list, and Sean and cook, but he had two helpers, Japet and Mama Coco, and so they were cooking till late at night. So I don't know what they cooked, but chicken and pork, so it's down there. What else? Yes, we have a lot of musical instruments, but there are very few people to play. So if you play instruments, you want to help Japet, you can. There's an organ, there's a drum, there's all kinds of things. You can come and do that. And so good to see you, very bad. Yeah, we were so sad, when we heard the news of our little girl, passing away, because we are very close, we are very friendly church, we know each other, and that was very, very sad. But I'm glad you are back, and there's some hope in that gene therapy, so that is good. Please give greetings to the young man. He's here. He didn't come today, okay?
No, because they have activity.
Okay, all right. So yeah, please give our greetings. Tell them we love them and we'll be praying for them. Yeah, as always. And so we are less free. A lot of people are doing a lot of different things. Jacob is learning driving, and some are having some other programs. But I still wish to emphasize that I tell Dr. Mike, he's saying, oh, I'll miss all that. I said, whenever you go, you advertise us, and we are the friendliest church. We have the best food, and our service is very short, and we elevate God's word. And I was thinking we can add some other things that make us unique. And one of the things I think we ought to do is we need to be people who answer promptly. When you get something, answer it right. Let's be known for that. I will try that also. If somebody message you, answer back as soon as you get it. Don't let it wait. So let's do that. Let's find out ways that we can be unique, so that we glorify God, and God will see fit to bless us. And let us keep talking to people about. I was expecting one man. His name is Crenshaw. I met him in the gym. He went to India when he was 20 from Nevada, he said, and he's like a monk, and he practiced, learned Buddhism for a long time. I said, have you read the Bible? Yeah, read the Bible. So I said, there is answer and hope in the Bible. I come from a Hindu background. I come from a culture where there's Buddhism, Islam, Sikhism, Jainism, all the religions, and I didn't find any answer. I found answer in Jesus, and and Sean is also reading, trying to find meaning. So he's been reading the scriptures, and if you don't know about Christ, the Bible is there. God has given us the Bible for us to find the answers in it. What else? Is there any other announcements? No? Anyone has anything? Because we have time, our service is very short, 20 minutes, so we have time. So some of you have any blessings to share in a short few sentences? You are welcome to say now. Anything that was a blessing to you? Anything that made you sad or happy? Yes, Ibrahim.
I got work this weekend.
Yes.
I worked with Tracy. I worked on an application. So yeah, that was good.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
And you earned a lot of money. I should find out about that work, Yeah. Tracy sent some money, through me to him, and I said, oh, that's a lot of funny, what work you do, More scams, huh? No, I know you're doing some research in some study program, so that's wonderful, yes. Yeah, I hope you share some with Aaron too. Aaron is feeling very sad. So you can know how good a brother he is, seeing how much he shares, what he learned from you. Yes. Okay, good. Most people have never heard of Nahum. I've never heard any sermon on Nahum. Have you heard any sermon on Nahum? It's a short 3-chapter prophet. And Nahum and Nineveh, it deals primarily with Nineveh. And so, welcome Becky. Where is Henry? Is he coming?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So yes, I don't want you to miss anything. Good. So Becky is the one that invited Sean over here. So that's good, and it grew like that, They come and see us, they think we are friendly or not. Therefore, we always have to smile at people and always say welcome and make people feel at home. Okay, so that's good. People are basically wondering, is this person friendly or not, talk with me or not. So we have to be open and receptive and listen to their stories. You can always tell them, tell us what happened last week, and slowly they will share. So, good, Becky. Did you have a good week?
Yes.
Yeah, good week. Okay. So I want to talk about something. I got a email, and this person I know from last 48 years. Their parents were missionaries in India, near my region. They spoke my language fluently. They were of Swedish background, and I got a letter from them, from this person. And this is what this person wrote. And this person doesn't look like having a great time. That's my name. Now, hi Devendra, things with my family are not so great. Your prayers would be appreciated. As you are probably aware, my parents and both my brothers died rather young. One was 17 and he died from leukemia. The other was 39 and he drowned. My father at age 62 because of pneumonia and Parkinson's disease, and my mother at age 59 from cancer. All I have left of my immediate family is my sister and her son. My sister Joy has schizophrenia, and though this is managed by medications, however, as a schizophrenic, she's paranoid and sees everything in black or all white. Unfortunately, I am in the black category. She's highly suspicious of anything I do, so I have to help her behind the scenes. We have a good relationship with the son Adam though. Okay. Our eldest daughter, now age 36, moved away from home 9 years ago and refuses to have any contact with the family. Now 9 years, no contact with the family. We don't know why, and without contact it is hard to have discussions or to reconcile. I pray for her and trust that God is taking care of her. I do wonder about mental health issues as being the bottom of it. My husband, his name is Christian, walked away from his faith 15 years ago and has maybe been in church 1 or 2 times since then, mostly for funerals. Our other daughter will be 33 next week. Just about 2 years ago, she had a fight with my husband and he physically attacked her and threw her out of the house. This has been heartbreaking for me. She would like my husband to go counseling before trying to reconcile, but he's unwilling to do, being rather narcissistic. He blames her entirely, paints himself as a victim, and refuses to take any accountability for his actions. My daughter lives in a boarding house close to our church and has been able to pay her own rent from savings, but that will run out in a month or 2. She has been trying to find a paying job for more than 2 years. She has applied for 800 jobs, but hasn't even gotten an interview. Okay, so this is a real person writing about real problems. You think you have a problem, but so this person has real things to make you distressed and troubled and burdened. Nahum lived in such a time. Nahum and his people lived during very distressing times. Okay, let's read it together, okay? By 778 BC, most of the countries in the vicinity of Israel and Judah had been subjected to Assyrian rule and were paying tribute to Tiglath-Pileser. After the fall of Israel in 722-21, Judah had to pay heavy tribute to Assyrian ruler. Tiglath-Pileser was succeeded by Sargon II, Sennacherib, Esarhaddon, and Ashurbanipal. The time of Nahum's prophecies thus coincided with the reign of Ashurbanipal. Okay, this is the historical. I want to give you a little bit of the history here. Okay, this is the British Museum. This after Sennacherib was assassinated by two of his sons. The other son, Esarhaddon, ascended the throne. The record of Esarhaddon's achievement while king is inscribed in this prism. Okay. This is the Black Obelisk. It's still in the British Museum. Okay. The Black Obelisk of Salmaneser III includes a record of illustrations of his various achievements as king of Persia, including tribute he received from Jehu, king of Israel. Instead of joining Damascus and fighting against Assyrian, Jehu chose instead to bow down to Salmaneser III, Hazael of Damascus. Displeased with Jehu's actions, sought to destroy the kingdom of Israel. Servants are shown here bringing tribute to Salmaneser III. Okay, these are various building accomplishment of Tiglath-Pileser, and among them Jehoaz, the Judite, is also mentioned over here. All right. Now we'll come back later. Nineveh was the capital of Assyria, and they were the world power at that time. I don't know who you would call a world power now. They are, I think, US, Russia, China, big powers right now. But at that time there was one big power, and that was Assyria. And they ruled for hundreds of years, and they were ruthless. And we will talk about that. They were ruthless, and we'll see a little bit. If you look at what's happening, there's a sketch, and I'll show you more of how they treated their enemies later. Okay, Nahum means comfort. Okay, the name Nahum means comfort, and he had a message of comfort for the people in distress. Just like my friend is in a distressing situation, people of God were in a distressing situation, and so he had a message of comfort for Judah, but he had a message of destruction for Nineveh. This is the same Nineveh that Jonah wanted destroyed because they were so ruthless and ferocious. But at that time, they changed. So God didn't judge them. And this is the same Nineveh a few hundred years later. And for the oppressor, the message was God will punish. And for God's people who are suffering, do not lose hope. That was the message. Shall we read this together? Thus says the Lord, though they are at full strength and many, they will be cut down and pass away. Though I have afflicted you, I will afflict you no more. To God's people also suffering. And this afflict means cause great unhappiness or distress. So the God's people under great distress, unhappiness, the pressure. Sometimes, like my friend, we also get into a situation where we are in distress, we are in difficulty. This is what God says. Let's read. And now I will break his yoke from off you and will burst his bonds apart. So this is the yoke that is put on the cattle for plowing. It's heavy, it's a burdensome. And God is saying, this one I will break. Assyria has this over you, I will break it. In the very beginning of Nahum, this is what God reveals himself. God is slow to anger, but he will eventually punish. You think, oh, nothing is happening, nothing is happening, nothing is happening. No. Something will happen. The only thing why nothing is happening, why justice is not taking place, why you don't see wrongs being righted, is that God is patient and slow to anger. Not like us, we retaliate very fast. God is not like us. He waits. Sometimes a very long time. The Lord has given commandment about you. No more shall your name be perpetuated from the house of your gods. I will cut off the carved image and the metal image. I will make your grave, for you are vile. And we will actually see this, what it means, the word vile, It's the greatest empire. And we will see the meaning of the word vile, what it really means. So this is what God's saying. You're the greatest empire, but then you have to contend with me. What was Assyria like? Okay, I know this is not a class, but I would like you to read it together because we get it better. Okay, let's read it. The Assyrian Empire exercised its authority with brutal force and cruelty beyond imagination. Heavy tribute was demanded, public executions were a regular sight, and local populations were deported to other countries. Nineveh was known as the largest ever city at that time. It was Ashurbanipal, the king of Syria, during the ministry of Nahum, who was known in particular for killing, impaling, and flaying not only unfaithful rulers, but their subjects as well, small and great. So this is what Assyria was like. We think of North Korea, okay? But North Korea is not as vicious as Assyria was. Assyria actually, skinned the people alive and put their skins on the wall. The heads, of course, on poles. And you'll see a picture of how they did that, and I'll show you a sketch later. They actually skinned them alive. When they conquered a place near Egypt, Egypt and Ethiopia and Libya, they were all together, and Assyria was so powerful in 1662, in the Battle of Thebes, they crushed them. What they did is that infants, they dashed them, The infants, they killed them by crushing them, with their hands. Just like the Khmer Rouge did in Phnom Penh, they did the same thing over there. They were very, very ruthless people. So here you see a picture of people tied and being skinned alive. This is actually in the British Museum. There are things from that period depicting their victories, their might, and all that. And so here you see one person holding a head over there. They're skinning the people alive to instill fear, so they won't rebel against them. What was the message of Nineveh to Nineveh and the king? To describe the king, mighty Assyrian Empire was as a lightweight, as a provocative statement. He said, I will, put you in your grave. You are vile. The word vile means you are nothing. You are insignificant. You are a lightweight. It's when Aaron and Abraham go to play Muay Thai, and then you find a frail little person coming, can't even kick, and he says, I'm not going to play with you. You're lightweight, So God is saying, you're nothing. You're lightweight. He's telling that to the greatest empire, the most ferocious, more feared empire. That's what God is saying. To suggest that this dynasty will come to an end, that the gods he worshipped will be destroyed, and that he himself will be buried in the most undignified manner is bluntly speaking. For the people of God, however, this is a message of hope. The Assyrian oppression will not endure forever. In fact, at the end of his reign is imminent. We sometimes look to the words of Paul when Paul says in Romans, how beautiful are the feet of them who bring good news. That is actually taken from Isaiah, which is actually taken from Nahum, and it is the picture of people, waiting in Jerusalem. What's happening out there? Nineveh, Assyria is way out there. What's happening? And people coming over the mountains with the news. Oh, our oppressor is no more. Our oppressor is finished. That's the context of that. How beautiful are the feet of the Lord. We have been oppressed. We've been under pressure. We've been burdened. We've been terrorized. We bear this huge yoke. And so what's happening to this person, this empire, this city? What's happening? He says it's no more. It's no more. That's the good news. Great news. So what is the message of Nahum? Don't lose hope in a hopeless situation, for God is in control and He is powerful and He will show His power. What is the message for us today? We should not lose hope. I don't know what is your situation. You are under pressure. You are distressed. The book of Nahum has a message. Don't lose hope. God is still powerful. And God will act. Maybe not in our timetable, not as we want Him to, but God will act. Is an individual, organization, or power taking away your freedom and your dignity? Is there? You may be in a situation, in a work situation, where somebody, an individual, an organization, or somebody more powerful is taking away your freedom, taking away your dignity. Like Judah, no freedom, no dignity. They have no right, they have no power. But God is still on the throne and He is powerful. Many people living in well-established and stable democracies, a situation, severe oppression by a foreign ruler is hard to imagine. But unfortunately, the harsh reality is that many people around the globe continue to suffer from oppression, dictatorships, a denial of basic human rights, and loss of human dignity. Hopelessness, people living simply giving up hope for a better life, is sometimes the result. Nahum provides the hope for such people. In a situation where the enemy seems invincible, Nahum's message is about imminent fall of the empire. All too often, where oppressed people are seemingly helpless, their only refuge is God. Judah was in no position to take on the almighty Assyrian army. In fact, nowhere is it even hinted that Judah will act in a military way against Assyria. Judah was in no way a military threat to Assyria. Yet it was hard to suffer the brutality of the Assyrians. Nahum points the people of God to God, who will bring freedom again, just as He has done in the past. Just as God once liberated His people from the hardships of Egypt when they were in similar hopeless situation, so He will bring deliverance to His people again. I want you to see the picture. Look at the picture as I read from you what is actually happening over there. This is prophecy, but actually took place. Woe to the bloody city, all full of lies and plunder, no end to her prey. Now this is the enemy that's attacking it. The crack of the whip, the rumble of the wheel, galloping horse and pounding chariot, horsemen charging, flashing sword and glittering spear, hosts of slain, heaps of corpses, dead bodies without end. They stumble over the bodies. Wow. Can you imagine? In the cities now is the one who terrorized is now being terrorized. It's these chariots that are, running, chariots are at 40 kilometers an hour, and they are running through the streets and killing people. The flashing of the spears and the swords and heaps of body, where the soldiers are actually stumbling upon the dead bodies as they go. And now this is the oppressor, the Assyria, and God says, your soldiers have become like women. They're running away now. So we should not feel bad about the oppressor, because their time will come. And it's nothing that we can do. Judah could do nothing. They were a small, tiny little hamlet over there. There's nothing. It's God. And God used another power, Babylon. You know what is Babylon? the king had two sons, and one, he gave Nineveh, the other he gave Babylon. So it's his brother that actually started all the working against, Ashurbanipal, and that's how the situation escalated for Assyria. So you can see that